Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Sever7, and today we are taking a look at the Exceed Designs Avair. This was designed and made by Josh Borum. He is the owner of Exceed Designs, and if you haven't heard of Exceed Designs, I would highly recommend taking a look at their website because they have a ton of awesome tools. A bunch of like box cutters you can customize, a titanium mini hatchet, just all sorts of cool stuff. It's definitely worth checking out. Now this is their Exceed Designs Avair, and spoiler alert, this one's a good one. Arguably one of the best values that you can get in a knife right around the $200 price point. So for starters, we've got these milled titanium scales, and if you listen, it's fairly deep milling. That milling's on both sides, and we've even got kind of right in here, sorry for my gross nails, even here on the chamfering, we've got all of this has been milled out, and that's going to be true for all sides. And I think it even, some focus, yeah, it's even down here, which is always a nice follow through. Whenever you see detail like that, it really gives you the feeling that, you know, the person that designed it really cared about making sure every detail was on point. So I appreciate that. We have a frame lock. We do have a flipper only deployment, but we are riding on skiff bearings. So to be honest, I don't mind it. We do have a titanium deep carry pocket clip, tip up, reversible, and this is lefty friendly just because of all the real estate you have right here without touching the frame lock. Now, the blade steel is M390, and according to metallurgist Dr. Laren Thompson, he's the guy that invented MagnaCut. Man, I'm really just trying to get this in the light for you. There we go. He's the guy who invented MagnaCut. Out of 10, he rates the edge retention of MagnaCut at a 6.5, corrosion resistance a 9 out of 10, and then a toughness a 3.5 out of 10. The blade is rocking a flat grind, a very nice, handsome drop point blade. We have this really, really good looking swedge, and then it even follows through here on the bottom. And what's great about this is it gives you a really nice robustness for that tip. If you take a look, try to get you in focus here. Maybe this is a better angle. You can see how thick it is behind the tip, right? So you're going to have a nice robust poking for, you know, anything you need to do. Like, I'm not doing anything too crazy myself, but, you know, if I stab into a box or something like that and, you know, I want to cut it from, you know, the halfway point or who knows, whatever. But it's nice to know that my tip has got some strength to back it up. And then we have this polished stone wash finish, which is very reflective. which I'm a big fan of. Looks really, really good. And even some of the other touches, like for the captive pivot, we've got this contrasting silver as opposed to like, this gray finish. And it's even down here as well. Just little bitty touches like that make all the difference, especially whenever you have a knife coming in right around that $200 price point. As far as the weight goes, we're coming in at an overall weight of 3 ounces. We have an overall length of 7.35 inches, a blade length of 3.25, and then we have a blade stock thickness of 120 thousandths. For a quick size comparison, we're going to put this up against the Pyrite Light. And we'll put it up against the Civivi Sikoke. So, as you can see, it's not a huge knife. It's not going to be, cumbersome to carry. It's not particularly heavy either. So this was definitely built to be something you stick in your pocket before you go to work. You carry it all day, and it's going to be, heavy enough that you won't forget it's in your pocket, but light enough that, you're barely going to notice it. Now, as far as the ergos go, this part, before I had the knife in hand, I was a little concerned about, because just looking at the knife, you've got kind of what looks like, points, right? It looks like, this could be a hot spot. And it just doesn't look very comfortable considering you don't have a choke up spot. So this is where you're going to be sitting all day long. And I just thought to myself, I was like, man, with all these little grooves in here, I don't know if that's where I want to be all day. However, with all this chamfering that's been done, and all the smoothing of the corners and edges, I can say that this knife feels absolutely fantastic in hand. I don't have any hot spots in the pocket clip, nothing. I could bear down on this for a good portion of the day and not have any hot spots. Sure, if you white knuckle it, for 2 hours, yeah, of course you're going to get some hot spots. But if you just hold it like normal and just use it for normal, cutting boxes, cutting letters, you're not going to have any real concerns about this knife being uncomfortable or giving you hot spots. Now, as far as the action goes, we have a good super snappy deployment, and then we've got this really controlled kind of hydraulic drop shut. It's not stiff, but it's not guillotine. And I personally, guillotine can be cool on some knives, but I find that this type of action, for me at least, is much more my preference. Just seeing the tolerances in action, I just find that incredibly satisfying. What would Lefty say? Dead nuts? We are dead nuts. As far as performance goes, just looking at the metal, this is going to be great for corrosion resistance. So I live in Missouri. It's not, it's not Stasa level, corrosion like he's in Louisiana. But I do like to know that, my blade's not going to rust out. As far as daily usage, cutting, tackling the Amazon boxes, paper, whatever, this thing performs like a champ. Um, I haven't had to sharpen it. You know, I might throw it on the strop every once in a while, but you know, it's comfortable. It does its job very well with the flat grind, very slicey. Overall, I'm just a huge fan of this knife. Now, the cost on this can vary between $180 and $240, and that's because this has options. So at $180, you're getting full titanium and M390. What takes that price up is going to be if you want milled titanium scales, and if you want skiff bearings, and then they have a black DLC PVD option, which blacks out the scales and the blade. So I want to say each of those options, I think for the milling it's like $10. Or no, they're right around $20 each. So if you want skiff bearings added, it's like $20. If you want the milling, it's like $20. And then if you want the PVD and slash DLC, that's like $20. So that'll take you from the 180 to the 240. Now, if you just want the knife that's gonna do its job, then fine, go for 180. I would 100% recommend getting the skiff bearings installed, because that's what contributes to the action of this knife. And if you haven't tried skiff bearings before, world of difference. Even if you're not somebody that fidgets with your knife, every time you pull this out of your pocket, you're going to be opening it. And it just feels good to kind of feel that quality every time you pull it out, every time you put it away. I opted for the milling just because I like milling. And it does provide a little extra grip. And then, you know, I didn't care for the blacked out look. So, I mean, if you want it, cool. If not, not. But the fact that you can get something titanium M390 optimally heat treated for 180 at base, absolutely fantastic. Now, I will say, if I did have to gripe about something, we have jimping up here, but if you look, it's not terribly deep jimping. So, you know, this is going to be more, like I could slide right over it. This jimping is going to be more for indexing, not really for holding your grip, right? And if it's wet outside, or if your hands are wet, I mean, I guess it really doesn't matter because you're going to slide right over it anyway. But that would be my only complaint. I wish the jimping was a little bit sharper. Now, it's not that big of a deal because you've got this flipper tab that's going to pretty much lock you in place. But, you know, it still would have been nice. If you like the way this knife looks and you want something that's going to be robust, that can be used for everyday carry, then I can 100% recommend this knife. That's really it for the video. My info and a link to the knife is always going to be in the description. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow me on Insta for more recommendations on gear, knives, things to get, things to avoid, and then I share awesome deals. You know, I'm actually kind of a prodigy at finding awesome deals on knives. I posted some of the community tabs, so make sure you check those out. But, you know, do me a favor too, if you've ever tried this knife, or if you have questions about it, or if you have opinions on it, if I got something wrong, just comment it below. I do read all the comments, and I will respond to all the comments. Also, let me know what other knives you'd like to see. But beyond that, I just want to say thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.